There's a moment every INFJ remembers. It's not the butterflies, not the spark. It's that quiet, unmistakable pull. That sense that the universe just whispered, "Pay attention." Most people fall in love through attraction or timing. INFJs fall in love through recognition. It's like your soul suddenly remembers someone your mind's never met. But here's the twist. You don't recognize them instantly. You recognize them once they've already seen you. Not the version you show the world, but the version that hides behind every "I'm fine." That's when you know. That's the INFJ's true soulmate moment, and once you experience it, there's no going back. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why INFJs only recognize their soulmate once, and more importantly, how to tell if you've already met them and didn't realize it. Let's dive in. All right, first thing first, silent understanding without words. When an INFJ meets their soulmate, the connection rarely begins with grand gestures or perfect conversations. It begins in silence. Not the awkward kind, but the kind that feels like home. You can sit beside them for hours, no words spoken, and yet everything meaningful has already been said. The air between you feels alive, charged, as if your souls are quietly communicating while your mouths stay still. This isn't just chemistry, it's resonance. INFJs crave energy that feels familiar, a rhythm that doesn't demand attention, but naturally syncs with their own. When your soulmate enters your life, you'll notice that your body relaxes before your mind catches up. You'll find yourself breathing easier, thinking slower, feeling present in a way you didn't know was possible. It's like tuning into a frequency that finally matches yours after years of static. From a psychological perspective, what's happening is fascinating. When two people emotionally align, their mirror neurons, responsible for empathy and connection, activate simultaneously. It's your brain's way of saying, "I recognize safety here." That's why the silence feels full, not empty. It's not absence of sound. It's the presence of understanding. But here's the deeper truth. Many INFJs have spent their lives being misunderstood, adapting, explaining themselves in fragments just to feel accepted. So when someone gets them without explanation, it can be terrifying. Their first instinct isn't to surrender, it's to question. Why does this feel so easy? What's the catch? That's the INFJ defense mechanism kicking in, trying to protect the heart from what feels too good to be real. The real challenge isn't finding this connection, it's trusting it, because real understanding doesn't demand effort. It demands presence. Your soul mate won't fill the silence with noise. They'll simply sit with you in it, until the quiet itself becomes the most beautiful conversation you've ever had. And next up, the emotional frequency match. When an INFJ meets their soulmate, the connection transcends logic. It vibrates. You don't just understand them, you feel them. Their joy, their sadness, their fear. It moves through you like an echo. Before they even speak, you already know. It's not guessing. It's resonance. Two emotional frequencies aligning so perfectly that your empathy becomes a shared language. INFJs are wired for emotional depth, and when someone mirrors that depth of hurt, it feels almost supernatural. You sense their moods in the subtlest details, the pause before a sentence, the tone shift in their laugh, the silence between their words. To outsiders, it looks like intuition. But to you, it's more like recognition. You've tuned into a station that only you two can hear. From a psychological perspective, this happens when two people synchronize their emotional patterns. Studies show that when individuals feel deep emotional empathy, their heart rates, breathing, and even brain waves can align. For INFJs who naturally absorb emotional energy, this creates an almost electric connection, one that feels ancient and unexplainable. Here's the hidden danger. Emotional familiarity doesn't always mean emotional health. INFJs, driven by compassion, can confuse shared pain with shared purpose. You might feel drawn to someone who mirrors your wounds instead of your healing. The chemistry feels real, but it's built on survival, not growth. That's the trap, mistaking emotional chaos for soulful depth. The real soulmate feels different. They don't drain your energy. They regulate it. They don't spark your anxiety. They ground it. You'll still feel everything intensely, but the intensity feels balanced, like standing in a storm and realizing you're not afraid of getting wet anymore. So here's how you'll know it's real. Their emotions don't consume you. They connect you. You don't lose yourself in them. You find your calm inside their storm. Because the true emotional match doesn't amplify your pain. It amplifies your peace. Third on the list, you see through each other's masks. INFJs have an uncanny gift. They see beneath the surface. They read emotions like body language, decode intentions like poetry, and sense what others can't articulate. But here's the paradox. They rarely meet someone who can see them back. That's why, when their true soulmate appears, it feels almost supernatural. For the first time, the observer becomes the observed. Your soulmate doesn't fall for your mask. They notice it instantly. They see the slight shift in your smile when you're pretending to be fine, the way your eyes look away when you're hiding pain, the tone of your voice when you're trying to sound strong. They catch every emotional tremor you have spent years disguising. And instead of exposing it, they honor it. They don't try to fix you. They simply stay, holding space for every hidden version of you to breathe again. This level of recognition hits deep in the INFJ psyche. Psychologists call it empathic attunement. When one person's nervous system mirrors another's emotional state. It's rare and it's powerful. For an INFJ who spent their life understanding others while being misunderstood, this moment feels like emotional gravity finally pulling them home. It's both terrifying and healing. But here's the psychological twist. When someone sees through your walls, your ego panics. INFJs are private by nature, and exposure can feel unsafe, even if it's gentle. You might retreat, test their loyalty, or analyze every word they say, searching for proof that their understanding is real. That's not fear of love. It's fear of being seen without armor. Your soulmate won't demand you to open up. They'll make honesty feel natural. You'll notice that your defenses start to lower. Not because you forced them to, but because they no longer serve a purpose. The space between you becomes a mirror where truth feels safe to exist. That's the sign you found the one who truly sees you. They don't just understand your patterns, they understand your pauses. They know when silence means peace and when it means pain. And that kind of sight isn't born from curiosity, it's born from connection. When you meet the person who sees through your masks, you'll realize you're not afraid of being known anymore. You'll stop performing and start being, because for the first time, someone isn't just looking at you, they're looking into you, and they don't look away. And fourthly, the calm after the storm. For most people, love begins with a rush. Fireworks, adrenaline, that intoxicating sense of urgency. But for the INFJ, the real soulmate doesn't arrive like lightning. They arrive like still water. It's not chaos that draws you in. It's calm. The peace feels foreign at first, almost suspicious, because you've spent years associating love with intensity. Yet with them, there's no performance, no chase, no proving, just quiet alignment that feels It feels too good to be true. When you meet them, your nervous system notices before your mind does. Your breath slows. Your thoughts quiet. You realize you're not anxious about what to say next, or whether they like you. You're simply present. That's what makes this connection so rare. It doesn't demand your energy. It restores it. It feels like coming home after a lifetime of emotional travel. Here's the psychological insight. INFJs often equate excitement with connection because their empathic brains light up in emotionally charged environments. The surge of dopamine from intense relationships tricks the mind into thinking it's love, when really, it's just stimulation. Your soulmate breaks that cycle. Instead of keeping your nervous system on high alert, they teach your body what safety actually feels like. And that's why peace can feel so uncomfortable at first. You might find yourself overanalyzing the calm, mistaking it for a lack of passion. But real passion isn't chaos. It's consistency. The kind of love that lets you exhale and stop waiting for the storm to return. The INFJ soulmate doesn't set your world on fire. They warm it. They don't trigger your survival instincts. They quiet them. They don't make you feel like you're losing control, and they make you realize you never needed to fight for it in the first place. That's why this connection feels so different. Because after years of emotional highs and heartbreak lows, your soul finally recognizes peace not as boredom, but as truth. When you find that, don't run from it. Sit in it. Let it teach you what love was always meant to feel like. Steady, grounding, and undeniably real. Fifthly, the mirror connection. Your soulmate doesn't complete you. They mirror you. That's the paradox every INFJ eventually learns. When this person enters your life, it doesn't feel like you found your missing half. It feels like you've been handed a mirror that reflects everything you've ever been. Your light, your shadow, your fears, your growth. And it's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's uncomfortable because the INFJ soulmate doesn't let you escape your truth. They bring it to the surface. You'll notice it in the smallest moments. They'll say something ordinary, and somehow it hits you right in the heart. They'll laugh, and you'll feel your inner child relax. They'll look at you, and suddenly you see your own vulnerability staring back. The INFJ doesn't crave shallow chemistry. They crave recognition. That instant, when two souls realize they've been walking parallel paths toward each other the entire time. Here's where it gets psychological. INFJs are wired for depth, so when someone mirrors their emotional core, the brain releases oxytocin and dopamine in ways that mimic nostalgia. It's literally your subconscious saying, I know this energy. But that's also where the danger lies, because not every mirror is your soulmate. Some people only reflect your wounds, not your wisdom. They show up to help you learn, not to stay. The real INFJ soulmate feels different. You won't feel addicted to their presence, you'll feel aligned with it. You won't chase them out of fear. They'll stand beside you in understanding. They challenge your illusions without shattering your confidence. They mirror your best potential, not your worst memories. And that's how you'll know. The true mirror doesn't distort you. It reveals you. When you meet your soulmate, it's not fireworks that convince you. It's that unshakable sense of truth. A quiet voice inside that whispers, this is what it feels like to be seen. Sixthly, growth through discomfort. An INFJ soulmate won't let you hide behind your comfort zones. They love you too deeply to let you stay small. Where others might idolize your strength or romanticize your sensitivity, this person sees the gap between who you are and who you're meant to be, and gently calls you toward it. They challenge you, not through criticism, but through truth. And at first, that truth can sting. INFJs are introspective by nature. They spend a lifetime analyzing, healing, and evolving. But when your soulmate enters, that inner growth stops being a solo mission. They become your mirror and your mentor. They'll ask questions that touch nerves you thought were long healed. They'll notice when you start retreating into old emotional patterns. And instead of rescuing you, they'll remind you of your power to rescue yourself. This is where the relationship deepens from romantic to transformational. Psychology calls this secure confrontation, the ability to face uncomfortable truths within a safe, emotional bond. It's how real growth happens. Your soulmate won't let you escape the work. They'll simply walk beside you as you do it. You'll argue, yes, but those arguments don't break you. They refine you. Each disagreement becomes a doorway to understanding, not a wall of resistance. You'll notice that they don't flatter your illusions. When you doubt yourself, they won't drown you in reassurance. They'll remind you of your resilience. When you hide your light, they'll push you to step into it. This isn't control, it's belief. They see your potential so vividly that they refuse to let you forget. And here's the paradox that makes it so powerful. The more they challenge you, the safer you feel. Because their challenges aren't meant to expose your weaknesses, they're meant to awaken your strength. For the INFJ, this kind of love feels sacred. It's not the fairy tale that keeps you comfortable. It's the journey that makes you conscious. So when your soulmate triggers growth instead of ease, don't mistake it for conflict. It's your evolution unfolding in real time. You'll realize that the right person doesn't complete you. They expand you. They don't calm every storm inside you. They teach you how to navigate it with purpose. And that's the deepest kind of love an INFJ will ever know. One that helps them become the version of themselves they were always destined to be. Seventhly, the one-time recognition. There's a moment every INFJ will experience only once, a moment so profound that it rewires the way you understand love forever. It's not the first kiss, not the confession, not even the I love you. It's the recognition. That silent inner knowing that says, this is it. This is the one my soul remembers. It doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with peace, clarity, and a strange sense of nostalgia for someone you've technically just met. When it happens, it's almost unsettling. You can't explain it, but you feel it. Like you've been walking through lifetimes just to find this one person. The INFJ doesn't recognize their soulmate through appearances or circumstances. They recognize them through energy. It's not a discovery, it's a remembrance. And once that recognition happens, it never fades. Even if life separates you, even if time reshapes you, a part of you will always carry that imprint. Psychologically, this recognition taps into something called emotional imprinting. The brain associates a person with a state of deep safety, belonging, and authenticity. That memory fuses emotion with identity, so even years later, the connection feels alive within you. That's why INFJs don't experience multiple soulmates. They might love again, they might heal again, but they'll only recognize one. Because after that, love is never blind. It's awakened. Here's what makes this so bittersweet. That one-time recognition doesn't guarantee a lifelong relationship. Sometimes your soulmate enters your life not to stay, but to awaken you. They're the catalyst that shifts your entire emotional frequency, showing you what real alignment feels like so that you never settle for less again. They don't just change your heart, they evolve your soul. After meeting them, every connection feels different. You stop chasing intensity and start craving authenticity. You no longer seek validation, you seek understanding. Love stops being a battlefield and becomes a mirror, one that reflects who you are when you're fully awake. That's the legacy of true recognition. It doesn't fade, it transforms. You might outgrow the relationship, but you'll never outgrow what it taught you. Because once an INFJ sees love in its purest form, they carry that frequency within them forever. So if you've met someone whose energy felt like home the moment you saw them, don't dismiss it. That kind of knowing doesn't come twice. You might lose them or you might build a life with them, but either way, you'll never look at love the same again. Because once your soul has recognized its reflection, every connection after becomes a conscious choice. Not a search for completion, but a celebration of alignment. If this video spoke to something deep inside you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that kind of instant recognition? That quiet, undeniable knowing that someone was meant to cross your path? Tell me your story in the comments below. I read every one of them, and your perspective might be exactly what another INFJ needs to hear. If you found value in this, give it a like. It helps more people who think and feel like us find this space. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of soul connections, empathy, and self-discovery. Share this with someone who sees the world the way you do, because who knows, it might just find its way to another old soul looking for their reflection.